The Supreme Court of the United States has leaked its ruling on Roe versus Wade, and there's been a lot of fallout from that. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Do appreciate everybody stopping by and supporting work. Please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. Make sure that you're still subscribed. You can find me on Rumble, you can find me on Twitter, and I will let you know when I get other platforms to support my work. MSNBC, they have something to say about this change in the U.S. law, the U.S. legal system that's coming here with the repeal of Roe versus Wade. So let's take a look and see what Joy Reid has to say on this subject matter. It's going to be fun.
Good evening, everyone. We begin the readout tonight with the reality of a post-Roe America. While the United States prepares to roll back the clock, stripping away 50 years of reproductive rights for half of the population.
Hey, at least she acknowledges that only half the population has reproductive rights. She probably thinks that the other half, the male half of the population has all of the rights. And when they strip this away, then the male half is going to have all of the rights and the women are going to have none of the rights. That's not how it's going to work. Women are still going to have all the reproductive rights, at least of those that exist. Men have none, really. Men have no rights. So welcome to our world, ladies. It's not actually going to be as bad for you as it is for men right now, but it's going to be closer to what men have to deal with.
It is instructive to look overseas at a nation that only recently decided to move forward, Ireland, where the right to legal abortion is relatively new. Irish citizens voted overwhelmingly in a 2018 national referendum to repeal Europe's strictest abortion law, banning nearly all abortions. The BBC documented the push to make history.
For me, it's so easy to sympathise with this because I grew up in England where abortion, everyone speaks about it. It's not a secret. It's an option for you if you need it. It's still a huge decision, but it's just mad to come somewhere that feels so close to home. Yeah, it feels like a million miles away.
That was just 4 years ago. The reality for Irish citizens was 35 years under its 8th Amendment, giving a fetus and mother an equal right to life under Irish law. It came at an unconscionable cost, the lives of Irish women. Notably, Dr. Savita Halappanavar, 31-year-old, who was denied treatment.
She's not Irish. Yeah, those Catholic Irish with their names like Savita. She's not Irish. It's a fake story. Probably comes out of Iran, not Ireland. That's what they messed up. It's Iran, not Ireland. See, there's a difference between those two words.
Treatment during a miscarriage in 2012. She died of severe sepsis days later. The United Nations Human Rights Council had criticized Ireland's law as cruel and inhumane in the case of a woman denied treatment and forced to go to England for care. Ireland, mostly Catholic Ireland, ultimately decided that the rights and lives of women mattered. And it's a cautionary tale here in the United States as we are now barreling toward codifying that they don't matter. So when Justice Samuel Alito writes, quote, "We do not pretend to know how our political system or society will respond to today's decision overruling Roe and Casey," the fact is we do know. It's not hypothetical. Ireland showed us what it looks like.
Yeah, the United States doesn't do things its own way. It's always done things its own way. I mean, we used to basically enslave the Irish. In fact, we did enslave the Irish. We can guess. I think I got a pretty good idea what's going to happen. And it's not rolling back Roe v. Wade for everywhere in the country. It's just saying it's not going to be a federal law. It's going to be a state law. So
Religious doctrine becomes law. And then, of course, there's a fictionalized version of how it can play out in The Handmaid's Tale.
Now I'm awake to the world. I was asleep before. That's how we let it happen. When they slaughtered Congress, we didn't wake up. When they blamed terrorists and suspended the Constitution, we didn't wake up then either. They said it would be temporary. Nothing changes instantaneously. In a gradually heating bathtub, you'd be boiled to death before you knew it.
oh yeah, The Handmaid's Tale. I have never seen the movie or the show, and I have never read the book. It's fiction. I like how people think that if we get rid of one law, one federal law, and say make it a state law, it's going to be oppressive to women. It's going to be like the end of women. That's it. You notice how looking at this picture right here of this young lady, she does not appear to be wearing makeup. That alone means that the world's not going to devolve into The Handmaid's Tale, at least not the United States, because you know how much money is made off of cosmetics in this country? I think it's the #1 industry in this country now. So yeah, we're not going to go into this level of oppression of women. Believe me, you're safe, ladies.
Well, now we are all awake. As Michelle Goldberg writes in the New York Times, this new post-Roe
That's the problem. You're all woke. You've woken up. You're all woke now. Damn progressives and their evil wokeness.
world order is just as dark, if not darker, than our dystopian nightmares. She notes, post-Roe America will not look like pre-Roe America. Before Roe, women were rarely prosecuted for abortion, though they were sometimes threatened with prosecution to get them to testify against abortion providers. Roe meant that fetal endangerment and fetal homicide laws didn't apply to women having abortions. Once it's gone, women who terminate their pregnancies are likely to be treated as killers. There's also the push.
I don't know. I have not done a look into the history of what happened to women who were accused of committing this crime before Roe versus Wade. I'm guessing it wasn't as bad as committing murder. It wasn't treated that badly. I don't know, though. It's before my time. Hopefully, if you're listening to this, it's before your time. I'm sure some of you are old enough to remember the time before Roe versus Wade. Maybe you could chime in the comments and let me know what it was like. Put your 2 cents in, because I would appreciate to know that. That's actually something I would like to find out about.
For so-called fetal personhood laws, conferring the right to life to a fetus similar to Ireland's now defunct amendment. At least 3 states have already enacted laws with personhood language. Another 6 states are currently pursuing bills that would ban abortion by establishing fetal personhood. And we've already gotten a clear glimpse of a post-Roe future in the case of Lizelle Herrera. The 26-year-old Texas woman was arrested and charged with murder over a self-induced abortion. She was held for 3 days before prosecutors dropped the charges. But while post-Roe America will look different, in states like Texas, it's already essentially here. And activists across the country are already mobilizing for our dark future. The Atlantic's Jessica Bruder reported on the network connecting women with services that they need, the so-called abortion underground, noting, whatever the laws may say, history has shown that women will continue to have abortions.
This is true. Women are going to have abortions no matter what the law says because women want to get abortions. I got a solution for you.
Yeah, I'm sex and I don't use protection. It's my hot body. I'll do what I want.
Yeah. Women just want to do what they want. This is the problem with women in general is we keep capitulating to letting them do what they want and getting away with it. And we need to stop and hold them accountable. Fact of the matter is, you don't have to have sex. Fact of the matter is, I know adult men, and I don't mean like 18-year-olds. I know 30-year-olds. I know 60-something-year-olds who have never had sex. Ever. Because women get to pick up the litter, whereas men don't have those options. Men have to scrounge and fight and struggle. I would still probably be a virgin if I hadn't done a lot of work. I go to the gym on a regular basis. I'm a good-looking guy. It's on the base of it, but I was always skinny and scrawny, and so I had to work out to build a muscle to improve my attractiveness. I went out and I got a degree so I could get a job so I didn't have to live with my parents so I'd be more attractive to women. What do women have to do to be attractive to men? Have a pulse? Oh, that's all? Just have a pulse. Huh. Wow, that's hard to do. It's really hard being a woman. Oh, man. So hard. You might actually have to be responsible in your life for once. Huh. You know, I've been celibate most of my life. Reason is, I didn't want to have kids. Keeps that problem from happening. Women don't see it that, oh, I can't, I got to give in to my urges. I got to give in to my urges. No, you don't. Keep your pants on, like you're supposed to. This has been touted all my life. The women are supposed to keep their pants on, and now, especially more recently, it's all about, no, take your pants off. Just run around naked and let any guy do whatever he wants to inside of your body. It'll be good. No, it's not. Okay? Freaking, these people, I don't understand.
Jessica Bruder joins me now. Also joining me, Catherine Colbert, the attorney who argued Planned Parenthood versus Casey before the Supreme Court in 1992 and the co-author of Controlling Women, What We Must Now Do to Save Reproductive Freedom.
Yeah. You don't need to change anything. We can get rid of Roe versus Wade, and you can still have all the reproductive freedom you want to. There's how many different types of birth control out there? You know, there's one called condoms. It's been around for thousands of years. You know what another one is? It's been around for even longer? Abstinence. Abstinence has been around since human beings became human. For like 100,000 years. Abstinence has been around. Oh my goodness. Heaven forfend that you should have to go without for once in your life, ladies.
And Controlling Women sounds exactly like what we're seeing happen right now. I will start with you, Catherine. What does that mean, controlling women? Because in the Casey case, the question was whether women had to notify their husband. Just to go through here, at issue, there were 5 provisions in the Pennsylvania Abortion Control Act. One commands that unless certain exceptions apply, a married woman seeking an abortion must sign a statement indicating she has notified her husband. That husband notification provision constitutes an undue burden, is therefore invalid. That was the case that she won.
Heaven forbid women should have to be responsible. Heaven forbid women should have to respect their husbands who they've devoted their lives to. Oh no. We don't want women like outing themselves as adulterers. And then, you know, maybe we don't want them outing themselves as getting this procedure that maybe their husband doesn't agree with. It's their body. They get to choose. Okay. I understand that you have rights to bodily integrity, etc. Hey, there's laws all about what goes into your body or what happens inside of your body. You're not allowed to use drugs. I know it's not the same thing as getting an abortion, but hey, there's laws about your body.
Isn't about notification anymore. What happens?
Well, there's a variety of effects. I mean, what we're looking at is about 40% of women who have abortions every year living in states that are likely to ban. And those bans will span from Georgia west to Texas, from Canada down to Mexico. Hundreds of thousands of women who are facing unintended pregnancy will be.
Unintended pregnancy. So like you don't know what's going to happen when you have sex. We know where babies come from. We've known for a long time where babies come from. It's not a mystery. Unintended pregnancy. Oh, I didn't. I just slipped and fell on a wiener and got pregnant. How did that happen? I don't remember that happening. Oh, if you don't remember it happening, maybe you should not be drinking. Yeah, BS.
Affected by these bans. And what does it mean? It means that they can't exercise decisions about when, where, and with whom to have children.
Nope, that's not true at all. You don't have to have sex with anybody you don't want to have children with. Women do it all the time. Women always are having sex with men that they don't want to have children with, and then they end up having the men's babies anyway. And they don't even get an abortion. They just have the baby. And then they raise it on their own, and it turns out to be a psychopath. What do you know?
It means that they will have to travel long distances, sometimes 200 up to 1,000 miles, to obtain appropriate care, which has severe jeopardy to their health. But like we
Notice how she said 200 up to 1,000 miles. Well, you know what? What if you're on a border? It's going to be legal here in California where I live. Maybe it's not going to be legal in Arizona. Maybe you live really close to the border. You're just like, oh, I'm just going to go to California and get one.
We saw in Ireland, it will also mean that women who have wanted pregnancies, who are facing a need to terminate that pregnancy due to a variety of health effects, will also suffer and be unable to obtain appropriate care. And as you pointed out in your opening, we're likely to see an increase in prosecution, primarily against.
Okay, we don't know if the United States is going to not allow women to get abortions when their health is going to be in danger or their life is going to be in danger. We don't know that. Maybe it's going to happen. Maybe it's not. We can't say that for sure. This is speculation on her part. But she's saying it as if it's fact.
Black and brown women who have.
Oh, Elizabeth Warren is yelling about this. We got to look at Elizabeth Warren. We got to see what Elizabeth Warren is saying about this. I mean, that's America's #1 Native American. I mean, blonde-haired, blue-eyed Native American. Have you ever seen a Native American who was blonde-haired, blue-eyed? I had never seen one before until Elizabeth Warren came along and said, "Hey, look, I'm Native American." She's less Native American than I am, and I'm not Native American, so I don't know what to tell you, sweetheart. Yeah, we're gonna look at this Elizabeth Warren thing as soon as we get done with this. We got to finish this off first, though.
Less access to care and who are often singled out due to discrimination by authorities, going after them for criminal prosecution for essentially trying to have an abortion in whatever means is appropriate and best for them. It is.
And just
let me just. Yeah. The only thing I'd add there, Joy, is this is the worst it's ever been in this country since 1973, and I can't overstate how problematic it is.
No, I indeed. And, the Casey case was in the 90s. We've rolled back so far. And I want to bring you in, Jessica, because your piece was quite striking about this abortion underground, this sort of underground railroad of trying to get women care and the home remedies that people have come up with. Talk a little bit about that and what we're probably going to see, because, I mean, look, the right is not satisfied. They aren't sated by this leaked ruling. Kevin Cramer, Senator Kevin Cramer, has already talked about a national ban. Joni Ernst and other senators have. This is what Senator Cramer said. He mentioned someone crossing North Dakota state lines to get an abortion. He said, I don't find a lot of solace in that just because it didn't happen in my state. So, yeah, I think you could expect that pro-life activists would push for federal protections. So you're talking about a potential underground that would have to be nationwide.
Yeah, well, let's bring up the point that bans on abortion have never stopped abortion. Even some of the people with the least.
It stopped some abortion, I'm sure, at least. People are always going to seek out abortion, whether it's legal or illegal, whether it's restricted in some way or not restricted at all. People are always going to try to get abortions, and I think we need to listen to Jack Nicholson about that.
How do you write women so well?
I think of a man, and I take away reason and accountability.
But look, these laws are intended to push this belief that a fetus is a living being at conception. That's what I think that the Republicans are trying to push. It might be that some of them are trying to go, hey, look, I want to control women. Hey, look, I don't want this reproduction stuff to get out of hand. Maybe that's a possibility too. I don't know what goes on in the brains of any other human beings, only mine. I'm sure there's other reasons as to why they want to outlaw abortion or make it not a federal law. But the fact of the matter is, I'm sure that abortion bans do stop some abortions, at least.
autonomy and the most draconian circumstances in American history, enslaved people were known to use cottonwood bark as an abortifacient. There have always been efforts to reclaim autonomy when there was none, and always been mutual aid efforts. And that's what people are talking about now. One of the reasons we can't go back to a pre-Roe world is because we now have the abortion pill, which is actually two medications, mifepristone and misoprostol. It's discreet. It can be sent in the mail. It's already being sent to all 50 states through.
I like this sign right here. It says, keep your laws off my body. I already said there's plenty of laws governing how my body operates. Hey, my hand is part of my body. If I make that into a fist and start swinging it at your face, that's illegal. Now you might say, well, that's violence, that you're trying to hurt somebody. That's not okay. Yeah, but I mean, I can't wear even certain things in this country. I can't consume certain products in this country because they're illegal. It's illegal to commit suicide. Who does that affect but me? That's the ultimate choice. That's the only true choice you have, because the only thing that is guaranteed in this world is death. So the only choice you really have is when and where it happens.
In a European organization called Aid Access. People are finding it on the plancupills.org website. And it essentially enables people to have an abortion, an early stage abortion at home. And we know that 90% of abortions in the U.S. are first trimester abortions. So this pill is really changing the picture. In 2020, more than half of abortions on record involved the pill. So part of this network of people is there are people who are already stocking up on the pill. There are people in Mexico who want to bring the pill in and get it into people's hands.
I got news for you, honey. There are people already bringing that into this country from Mexico. Have you ever heard of the cartels? They launch all sorts of drugs into this country with catapults and trebuchets. Not only that, they bring them in on their persons when they send people over.
Passing all sorts of things around. And there are people getting ready to move doctors around too. I spoke with an organization that's bulletproofing vans. So a lot of movement in our future and a lot of people gearing up to do what they believe is needed.
I will add to that. There are some companies that are talking about covering the travel costs for their employees that need to get abortion services. Citigroup, Match.com, Bumble, Yelp, Lyft, Amazon, Levi Strauss, Apple, some others.
It should not be a problem for the businesses to handle. These women should not even be considering a career. They should be considering working at home. They should only be working if they have to. There's no other choice, especially in these high-powered positions and stuff. It's ridiculous.
And you also, you have people that are looking to help. But I mean, the question then becomes, how do you protect yourself against your doctor? There is a long history. Mother Jones had a piece about this long history of doctors reporting their own patients. Catherine, and I'll throw this to you, this is what the Mother Jones piece said. Medical staff have long reported pregnant people, predominantly women of color, for things they think might be illegal or otherwise disapprove of. Doctors and medical staff are in many cases literally empowered by state law to intervene when they believe a pregnant person has caused harm to their fetus. In other situations, medical staff may be outright confused about the responsibilities are. If you're in a state like Texas and you even get the pill at home, you take one of these pills to induce an abortion, and then you don't feel well and you go to your doctor for care, they can report you and collect a bounty.
Right.
So the point
that's exactly what happened. That's what happened in the Texas case. And the woman who was prosecuted for self-managing her care was reported by a hospital when she went to seek care. It's extraordinary. But the reality is, it is Black and brown women who are going to suffer when that happens, because the prosecutors, the rogue prosecutors, are much more likely to target them than they are other white women.
All right, well, I have some predictions before you move on to Elizabeth Warren. I mean, I think that this is going to change things in the country. You said at the end they're Black and brown women. I think there's going to see an increase in the Black and brown population in the United States. You're going to see an increase in crime in the United States. You're going to see an increase in poverty in the United States because there's going to be fewer women who can get abortions. So they'll have those babies, and it seems to me that the women who are Black or brown are more likely to live in states that are going to outlaw abortion, and they're going to be less likely to be able to travel because they're more likely to be living in poverty. So you're going to see an increase in Black and brown babies. Going along with that, you're going to see an increase in crime. I don't know what to tell you. I look at the FBI statistics. I'm sorry if that sounds racist, but if you look at the FBI statistics, Black people commit more crime. That's just how it is. I can't really tell if the difference between white and, say, Hispanic people committing crime, because a lot of those statistics lump them together as one race. White and Hispanic is one race. So you're going to see that. You're going to see an increase, of course, in back alley abortions, of illegal abortions. You're going to see an increase in the use of these drugs that they're talking about, these two drugs that induce abortion. You actually probably will see a reduction of promiscuity, women less likely to just sleep around, which is a good thing. Women being more selective with who they sleep with. Women actually trying to get to know somebody before they engage in sexual intercourse with them. These are all good things. Those are all good things anyway. what else could happen with this? I'm no expert on this. I'm no genius on this. I'm not an anthropologist. I'm not a historian. You put your 2 cents down below. Let me know what you think is going to happen in the comments. And tell me if I'm wrong on any of the things that I said. You'll see people moving to these states that allow abortion because, like it or not, conservative women do get abortions. They don't want to admit it, but they do. They're less likely to, but they still get abortions. You're going to see an increase in children being put up for adoption. You're going to see an increase in childhood deaths, both on the mother's part and on the child's part, because you're going to see more births, right? We're going to have more births, so you're going to see more deaths. Just how it is. You're going to see men less likely to be promiscuous too, I think. I think that men are going to start waking up and going, yeah, there's no way of getting out of this. I mean, maybe my girlfriend's really cool and chill and she would get an abortion if we weren't ready, but now she can't, so we're not going to. So we're just not going to have sex. So let's move on to Elizabeth Warren and see what she has to say. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun.
I am angry because we have reached the culmination of what Republicans have been fighting for, angling for decades now.
Oh no, you lost your political position. Heaven forfend. The Republicans lose their political position all the time. So why are you so angry about it? It just happens. It's politics.
And we are going to fight back. I am angry because of who will pay the price for this. It will not be wealthy women. Wealthy women can get on an airplane. They can fly to another state. They can fly to another country. They can get the protection they need. This will fall.
All women can get the protection they need. Condoms are free. Abstinence is free. You can also go to Planned Parenthood and get other free contraceptive devices. So I don't know what to tell you. There's all sorts of options for you.
On the poorest women in our country. This will fall on those who have been raped. This will fall on mothers who are already struggling to work 3 jobs to be able to support the children they have.
Yeah, you're going to see a problem there too, where these women who already are pushed their limits as far as the amount of hours they can work to support their families are going to have more children because
I think of a man, and I take away reason and accountability.
I don't know what to tell you. Don't do these things, you won't have these problems.
Well, I am here because I am angry, and I am here because the United States Congress can change all of this. Yes. Angry.
I don't think that they can. I think that the Supreme Court already voted on this, so I think you're stuck with it. I'm not a politician, but I don't think that's how it works.
But committed. Understand this. Understand this. I have seen the world where abortion is illegal. And we are not going back. Not ever. No. So say it with me. We are not going back.
Sounds like you are. I mean, the law's already been changed, so I think you're going to be stuck with the states being in charge of whether or not this is illegal.
Not ever. Not ever.
Okay, so a bunch of crazy people chanting. This is just a ridiculous state of affairs in the United States. We have pro-abortion advocates are becoming violent after Supreme Court leak. You're going to see an increase in abortion clinic bombings. You're going to see an increase in violence against doctors who administer abortions, nurses who administer abortions, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to see this happen. This is part of what's going to unfold when this law gets changed. Whoopi Goldberg spoke out about it too, because, you know, she's smart and intelligent and she has things to say on everything. Let's see what she has to say here.
Women, when they decide something is not right for them, they're going to take it into their own hands. Well, we got tired of tripping over women in bathrooms, public bathrooms, who were giving themselves abortions because there was nowhere safe, nowhere clean, nowhere to go. This law came about because people wanted people to have somewhere safe and somewhere clean. It has nothing to do with your religion. This is not a religious issue.
Actually, to a lot of people, it is. In fact, a lot of these issues, a lot of these laws are religious statements, period. We're supposed to be a secular society here in the United States and not let religion decide our laws, but that's not how it works in reality.
This is a human issue. If you care about me as a human being, you should know 3 things. Getting an abortion is not easy. Making that decision is not easy.
Actually, it is for a lot of women. I've known women who are like, I had sex with this guy, I got pregnant, so I went and got an abortion. It's no big deal. I used to work with a girl who did. This guy that I worked with was such a pig, but she fell for him. She was a new girl that we hired, and she fell for him, and she ended up getting pregnant after their one encounter. It's like, why would you even bother being with this guy? He's so freaking. He's just a pig. And he was against getting an abortion, but she was for it, obviously. So she got one. She didn't even think twice about it. She's got it.
It's not something people do lightly. It's not something that you can just do. It is a hard, awful decision that people make. And if you don't have the wherewithal to understand that, to start this conversation with, I know how hard this must be for you. If you're starting it by telling me I'm going to burn in hell, then you're not looking out for me as a human being, whether I subscribe to your religion or not. And that is not okay.
All right. Well, that's Whoopi Goldberg on the subject matter. And we all know how Whoopi feels about masks. They should be mandated. Now, there's a difference between wearing a mask and getting an abortion. I know, and it's about safety, right? Getting an abortion is not about safety of a large group of people, whereas wearing a mask is. But I could argue the other way. I mean, if you're going to be an irresponsible parent, then abortion does become about being safe in a large group of people, because you're going to be letting little hoodlums out into the world to cause trouble. This is a complicated issue that, we're going to see what happens. We're going to see how this unfolds. I'm not going to give you my 2 cents because I don't care. It doesn't matter. My 2 cents don't matter. I mean, I'm here to present to you what I see in the public media being said, and how I think that women need to just suck it up and be responsible for a change in their lives. Oh, we had back alley abortions before. That doesn't need to happen. You can simply not have sex. And then all the people are going to come, oh, no, what about when it's forced? It's forced on them. Okay. Well, are there going to be a lot more states saying, okay, if it was forced, then we can do something about it? Now, of course, you have to prove that it was forced. That sort of violence has been dropped off quite a bit in recent years. So, maybe if all of the back alley abortions before were coming from that violation, then there won't be so many now, because that violation isn't happening as much as it used to. It shouldn't ever happen. It's horribly wrong, but unfortunately, there's a lot of horrible human beings in the world, and you're going to be making more of them when you make abortion illegal. More horrible human beings are going to come along. So, that's just something to think about. I just wanted to present these things to you, present these ideas to you, and then let you make up your own mind about what we should or shouldn't do. Anyway, thank you for watching, and please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.